Okay guys, I'm hoping that you can see from there. I'm not sure. I think that everything is good. I'm gonna try. We have a wide angle there, so you should be able to see everything. I'm gonna get my mask on, so I probably won't talk much once I have this on, because you won't be able to hear me very well anyway. And once I start grinding, you're definitely not gonna hear anything I say. So yeah, we'll let it be so far like that. First order of things is to do some grinding on here to smooth things out. I need to put on some hearing protection. This gets quite loud. You may want to turn down your volume. Okay guys, so I focused just a quick buff there, but I've got to find the spots that are closest to the body here without having to do a lot of hammering or anything, and that's where I'll start trying to dial in the welder, because the metal essentially has to be fairly close in order to be able to handle gap. It's got to be close in order to be able to get it to make a bond. So I've got some high spots that need to be heated up. I got a pretty good low spot here. I may slide over and focus and see if I can dial in on this low spot here. If I can get it dialed in here, then I can. I don't want to light the torch to heat this up. I want to see if using the welder will heat that enough that I can actually tap it with the hammer at the same time, because I don't need to hold a rod. I'm using my MIG welder, and don't have to hold a rod, because it feeds the wire. It's wire feed. That's basically the rod. So when you weld, that's the material that you would use to substitute as holding a rod, right? This will be the material that will bond. It's very thin. It's flux core or something, I think, and supposedly, maybe not, I'm not sure, it should be. But I'm going to snip this off, make sure my wire is feeding through at a good speed, and I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to have my little hammer here, body hammer, if I can find it. I've got one here somewhere. This has got pretty good fine tip on the end here. You know, it comes to a bit of a point. It's not sharp, but it's fairly pointed. So as I go through and weld with the welder, it's going to heat things up. I'll try to tap that in nice and tight as I go. It's going to heat the localized spot, but it'll heat around it as well. So as I move to the left or whatever, I'll try to tap it in on the left or to the right, whichever way I go, to get a nice close fit with the material. And hopefully I can dial this in so it'll stick. So let's see how that works out. I wasn't going to put my peanuts in there, but they're kind of in the way. Come over there. I'll put all the necessary tools up here. So the hammer's there. I won't need the earphones for this. I do need my mask. What I need to do now is unplug the grinder, plug in the welder. Plug in this welder here. It's 110. So let's plug it into an extension cord. does have a ground plug. Extension cord has a ground slot, so we can plug it right in there. It should be all right. Plugged in. I'll leave it on the low setting where I had it last time. Last time I used it, had any success getting to stick it all. I had it set on, it's got two settings on, it's got max and min. I set it on min because I don't want it to be too hot. And then of course it's got a button on it for the feed, the speed of the wire feed, how fast the wire comes on the tip. I kind of adjusted that. I may have to adjust that more, and I might even have to go internally and adjust the tension on the two little wheels that pull the wire through, because the wire still wasn't coming out in a way that would be considered smooth. It was kind of blotchy. So in fact, I might even do a little tweak on that right now before I start. Just give it a couple more little turns, pressure on. There's a little spring mechanism, spring arm, and you turn a thumb screw on it, and that puts more tension on the wheels. So I've cranked that a little more. I'll see how that works out. As always, when you start out with this after having welded a while ago, it's good to kind of snip your point off so it's square, clean. So the first thing I want to do is test to make sure that yes, the wire feed is doing its job. I also need my ground strap. You can't weld if you don't have a ground strap. That's got to be connected to the vehicle. I've got to find it. There it is. Find a good spot where you can get a ground. And a lot of this metal is tacked and welded. I'm not sure if it's good enough to give me a ground or not. Last time I put my ground cable, where did I put it? I'm not sure where I put it. Let's try it in various different places until we get it where it works best, or where it works at all. In some cases it may not work at all, so if it doesn't get a good ground, we're not going to get anywhere. Let's see. Everything's fairly rusty down there, but should be, let's see what happens if we try putting it on a piece of this metal that we've actually pot riveted onto the vehicle. See if that'll give us a ground or not. The first thing is to make sure that we've got wire feed. Let's try that. That's coming nice and smooth, it looks like. I'm going to try that. So what I'm going to do is turn the power back off. Shorten that up again. So we've got a fairly long piece hanging out of it there now. About 1/4 of an inch for starters. I need to put the mask on now and the helmet. I might even have to dial that helmet in too, because it's an auto darkening helmet and it may be darkening too early or not enough, right? So that might have to be dialed in as well. Do have to wipe a little bit of dust off of there. She's very dusty. I don't have a clean cloth. I hate to use my finger, but considering I don't have anything else right now, I could try my sweater here. Doing this gives a lot of fine scratches, which affects the overall ability to see, which is probably not the best idea, but it's a done deal. I'll wipe her off on the outside. I did Mickey Mouse setting here. I've got a magnifying piece of glass in there to help me a little bit see, because I need glasses when I weld. I put that glass in there and it helps to magnify things. And just got some duct tape to hold it on. It's kind of coming off there a little bit. I might have to put some new duct tape pretty soon and redo that. But it's set in a specific setting right now that I used last. Seems to be okay. We'll give it a try and see how it works. So without further ado, let's give her a shot. Well, let's just test her out on a spot, see if we do actually have any ground. Oh, turn her on first. She needs power. Wrong button. Wrong button. Alright. There's the feed. Okay, we got power. Good. Now, let's see if we can get any kind of success here. Looks like that might have actually penetrated. So I'm going to go along and tack a few spots. Okay, now there's a spot where the metal is a little further out. Didn't want to tack, it more burnt through than anything, so looks like I'm going to have to either heat that with the torch and tap it in, or I'm going to have to work with the welder and the hammer to get what we need. Doesn't like the rusty metal much, and there's still some of that there. Get the cutter off again. Yeah, if the metal's not tightly bonded before you the metal doesn't meet nice and tight, the two seams, then it has a tendency to just burn through one middle or the other. So it looks like I might have to go along with the torch and do some adjustments, because before I can tap it in with the heat from this torch, this welder, it's probably going to burn through. I did get a few tacks on there, but not quite as good as I want. So I'm gonna bring the torch over, guys, and as quickly and as efficiently as possible, try to get a better fit along those seams, and then I will continue to experiment with the MIG from there. So torches aren't that far away. Let's go grab them, bring them closer, and go from there. There may be some areas that would require that I use the torch. It'd be easier to use the torch in terms of welding, but I think if I get this to fit fairly close, that I can actually get the MIG to work the way that it should. So that way it'd be better, because I'm not using up gas, and the only thing is, if I run out on my spool, then that's where I'll be if I have to go buy a new spool. It's much easier for me to go buy a new spool for the MIG welder than it is to try to go get gas for the torches, because I have to find an outlet that sells the gas, and then I think Princess Auto does, but they're down in Calgary, and I don't want to spend any time driving down there. I want to get some work done. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of wire on my spool there, and I think I can do a lot of welding with that before I run into an issue where I'm out of supplies. So, gonna move this vehicle further ahead and bring the torches around.